Michael, when I think of Adelaide, maybe it's not my first travel destination in my consideration set. So what is the most exciting thing to do in Adelaide? What would you recommend to everyone here?
I reckon you should jump on the GAN, go from Adelaide to Darwin, all-inclusive 3-day train journey. Everything included, luxury cabins. That's probably my number one pick. But if you need anything else outside South Australia, Journey Beyond got you sorted as well.
That's a nice plug there, Michael. Cool, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be talking about who Journey Beyond is, our roadmap or journey with Telium so far. We're about a year in, so I am going to be focusing on our implementation, how we approach that implementation, and the quick wins and the sort of future use cases we can now start looking at because of our approach to implementation. But instead of me talking about Journey Beyond, an experiential tourism company, I did want to direct your attention to a quick 30-second video that explains who we are a lot better than I can put into words.
We go further to take you beyond on Australia's most iconic travel experiences. Journey Beyond.
So from that, I hope you can start to see the types of experiences we offer. We're Australia's largest experiential tourism company, owning and operating 16 brands. I think I've got 16 there, but the rapid growth of Journey Beyond, it could actually be 17 at this point. 16 or 17 different brands across Australia, and when we say experiential tourism company, we're really trying to bring Australia's most iconic experiences and destinations to life. Whether that be a train trip on the GAN from Darwin to Adelaide or Adelaide to Darwin. We've got a train from Perth to Sydney, the Indian Pacific. It could be a stay between the Outback and the Ningaloo coastline with Salsalis Ningaloo Reef in Western Australia. It could be a stay under the stars or under the water in the middle of the Whitsundays with Cruise Whitsundays. So this is the type of experience we're offering. But then we have day experiences like Journey Beyond Cruise Sydney in Sydney Harbour, Darwin Harbour cruises that really complement our bigger experiences such as the trains, such as Outback Spirit. So you can start to see the 17 brands that we have. I'm going to stick to 16 because that's what I've got on the slides. The 16 brands we have, how different they actually are, how different that customer lifecycle can be, how different that individual customer can be, and how many different data sources we actually have. We have a website for every single one of our brands. We have marketing channels and a varied level of marketing activity based on maturity, based on budget, to be honest, across those brands as well. So hopefully that is starting to tell you and help you get an understanding of why we wanted to implement it, why we needed to implement a CDP. I also want to focus here on why Telium was our preferred partner. When we were going through the research phase of who our CDP partner should be, we were told by a lot of competitors that Telium can be a complex platform. We went into implementation knowing that. We had that information on board. We went into implementation knowing that. That was alleviated through the training that Zach and his team offers, the information that Leon and Amy and their teams offer to us and that we're able to bring on board. But knowing that we were picking a solution that can be complex, we were picking a solution, a CDP provider that is customizable to our 16 different brands. We also needed something that was scalable. When I started at Journey Beyond 4 years ago, we had 7 brands. We now have 16. And since implementing Telium, we acquired a new brand to manage out of South Australia. So a resort next to the biggest safari park outside of Africa is an hour outside of Adelaide. We have the resort that sits next to that at Monarto. So we needed something that was keeping up. And Telium, it's not a plug and play platform. We have a plug and play strategy at Journey Beyond where everything we bring in, every business we bring into our to our group needs to sort of plug into our existing platforms, Tealium offers that, and we knew that from the get-go. That's specific to why we picked Tealium, but in terms of why we wanted a CDP in the first place, we had and continue to have a lot of triggering personalization based on transactional data. We've gone through a big data project to make sure that is clean in our CRM, accessible to the marketing team, and we've always used that to trigger, create automated triggers, personalize the next email that someone is getting. But there's a real gap in some of that as well. We wanted to upsell people, and we did upsell people to a holiday package. So say someone booked the rail journey only, we offer holiday packages that offer accommodation and our city experiences here in Sydney. So someone's booked the Indian Pacific from Perth to Sydney and hadn't booked accommodation and Journey Beyond Cruise Sydney, we would then email them 2 days after they had booked, spent that money, and ask them to upgrade, spend more money by calling us. It's a complete gap or a pain point we didn't think we needed to have. With Tealium, we want to be more proactive in understanding who's on our website, who is showing propensity to buy one of those journeys, rail-only journeys, and trigger that email, similar email, to go before and really leverage or really influence that purchase decision from the get-go and take that pain point away. And of course, we wanted to bring all those separate data sources together, those separate websites together. Our online booking engines sit separately to our front-end catalogue websites. So understanding someone across all those sources was impossible before Tealium came on board. Here, if you're in your implementation phase or you're about to sign on to a CDP, and hopefully that is Tealium, this next slide is what I want you to take out of this presentation. These 3 points on this next slide is how we approached our implementation that allowed us to go live in 15 weeks. And that's live 3 use cases set up running in 15 weeks. The early alignment of the Journey Beyond team, we really wanted to, our CDP, our Tealium instance, is a marketing-owned platform. It has clear marketing benefits coming out of it. What we did from the get-go, early on, and Tealium actually presented to our internal teams, our Salesforce developers, our data and analytics teams. We took them on that full journey to show the wider business impacts that Tealium can have. Yes, we're pushing audiences out for marketing purposes, but we can also push that back into the Salesforce CRM to help their processes, help their next best action recommendations in their platform. So they're doing the work for us to stand up a CDP, but they're actually getting benefits out of it. We really wanted to highlight that from the get-go. Oh, sorry. The marketing ownership, yes, we're owning Tealium in the marketing team, but where I think where it could be possible to pass off the implementation project of Tealium is in that implementation phase. We could have passed it off to our IT project team or our project management office. We owned that in marketing. And the purpose or the benefits of doing that is that I was the one that's going to be owning Tealium in the future. I knew where we wanted to get Tealium to. I still know where we wanted to go. I know our utopia. It will probably change a million times before we get there, if we ever get there. But that's the beauty of the beast. But owning that whole implementation project in marketing, I was able to learn from our implementation team, bring that knowledge in-house, and not rely on an external team for the sort of day-to-day tasks that we wanted to get up really quickly. What we rely on our Tealium team now for is the strategy, is prioritizing use cases, is future-proofing and looking towards the future of what our platform needs to do for us. And then that third one, this one is key, and it's simplifying the use cases that form your implementation project. Our implementation project wasn't kicked off until we had these 3 use cases live internally, which are on the next slide, and they are simplified to the nth degree. They are activity we already did, and they're activity that every business here today probably already does, but they are strategically picked based on our data sources to help us grow in the future. They were digital ad suppression. So Amy's come to us, she's purchased the GAN, we would suppress her. We always suppressed her from receiving paid marketing on the GAN. We don't want to be spending money on someone who's already purchased. But we weren't able to pull Amy out of that audience when she had finished that experience to start receiving marketing again. We weren't able to do that easily through the way we were doing this in the past. With Telium's enhanced capabilities, we can push and pull these people out. We can push and pull Amy out of those suppression audiences based on her customer lifecycle to really align that to where she is in that travel lifecycle. Digital ad retargeting is similar. If we have a business case or a business priority of what we need to sell, and that's in our paid digital marketing, say we need to sell the GAN. I'm using the GAN, it's our biggest brand. Say we need to sell the GAN at any certain time. That would be running at a top level brand awareness campaign on Facebook. We would retarget people from the website and use them as lookalike audiences and push them towards the GAN, no matter what they've done on our website. With Telium, we can now see who are the people that are preferencing the GAN versus the Indian Pacific versus another of our trains, the Great Southern. And we can build lookalike audiences based off that to be a bit more specific, but while still having the large audience sizes to really reach as many people as we can in that brand awareness phase. And then thirdly, our personalized email journey was our third use case in implementation. We have quite a mature state in our our automated marketing tech, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, but we were never able to actually send an abandoned cart email. We were never able to see what someone looked like in our CRM versus what they were doing on our website and on our online booking engine. With Telium matching those three use cases, those three data sources together, we were now able to send an abandoned cart email, which is Marketing 101. But it really showcased that point that I made before about bringing all of our data sources together in new activity. From there, because we prioritized our data sources, because we thought about the future in our implementation project, we were able to now move on to start looking at use cases that really drive KPIs for the business, wider KPIs for the business, and that is repeat travel using Telium. I said we always triggered on transactional data. We personalized on transactional data, what someone had traveled on with Journey Beyond in the past, what they haven't done in the future, where they live. That's all stuff we've done in the past, but there are real gaps again in that approach. We also looked at past guest trends and reporting to showed for the people that travel on the GAN, and go and book another train, 60% of those people, about 60% of those people will go and book the Great Southern from Brisbane to Adelaide. So similar experience, different destinations, different off-train experiences, but similar. So what we would do in email marketing, X months after they'd travelled on the GAN, and if they hadn't travelled on the Great Southern in the past, we would go and push them onto automated emails, dreaming and researching phases of the Great Southern. It actually had pretty good conversion rates, good engagement and good conversion. But how could we make this better? What if someone had come back to the website after traveling on the GAN and started looking at the Indian Pacific? They're an outlier to that 60%. We would still push them onto that Indian Pacific dreaming and researching phase or automated emails because we had no clue what they were doing on our website. Now, with that information, we can feed that into I don't say legacy, but our transactional decision-making, our automated decision-making, to really become more of a one-to-one approach, listen to what they're doing on our website, and feed them information or communications, advertising, that they are showing intent on wanting or showing intent on dreaming or researching about as their next trip. We've simplified the use cases. We also simplify the ROI, and I think we're really lucky. I think we really had to jump on the opportunity to do this early in our journey to really set the culture of A/B testing. So Telium isn't, at the moment, giving us new channels of activity. It's giving us new activity in our existing channels and the ability to incrementally improve that activity in our existing channels. We have really strong reporting on those existing channels, on that existing activity. So we're utilizing that to show the value of Telium. It sort of becomes like a big A/B test where we are showing results from when we didn't have Telium to results when we now do have Telium, or we're showing results and uplift in, say, email activity that is powered by Telium audiences versus what was powered by that those transactional audiences in the past. And we've had some really strong results early on, just under a year into our journey with Telium. So we've noticed, comparing the time before Telium to a time after Telium, a drop of $5 in our cost per acquisition. We've increased our email open rate on automated marketing emails, our open rate by 5% and our click rate by 2%. Now this doesn't sound like a massive amount. I wish I had the numbers of, I think it was like 49 from L'Oreal. I wish I had that. But these numbers are on engagement. People love hearing about travel. This is a full room. Hopefully you'll love hearing about travel as well. But people love hearing about travel. And these increases are on a 60% open rate and a 17% click rate already. So if we can accomplish, or we can achieve this across every sort of phase of our customer lifecycle, everything we're already doing, if we can make these incremental benefits to everything we're doing, not just in email, but in paid and other channels as well, it's where we can start small and really show really big impacts across the group and really have that snowball effect across our brands and across the Journey Beyond group. I did want to chat a little bit about AI initiatives at Journey Beyond and how Telium can sort of benefit from them or help enhance them. So we have an aptly named internal chatbot called ChatJB. I don't really know if they asked the marketing team to come up with this name. I really hope they didn't. Surely something better could have been named, but that's okay. It's built on and learning from our own data. I think that's key. From everything we've heard today, we really went along this. We understood the appetite in our staff to start exploring AI. We have a really good culture in our technology team of people who want to explore this and bringing it into Journey Beyond. We are really happy for them to do that and help them run with that. But it's built on and learning from our own data for security, but that just gives us the added benefit of everything we're driving from Telium, all the new data we're actually getting from Telium, we can start pushing that, and we will start pushing that into the database that ChatJB is learning from. Now that's internal, currently it's being used to have better conversations for our travel centre staff to have better conversations with people on the phone, to look up product information and stuff like that. But we can really turn this into having better recommendation conversations, being able to personalise the journey or the phone call based on maybe what they've done on the website. Everything that we've sort of heard today, we really want to push that Telium data into our internal chatbot that is plans to be using externally as well, to help that learn and help our customers have better conversations with the people they're on the phone with. The second one there, and I don't know if some people will laugh at this, but our guest feedback, because of our demographic, a lot of people that are on our trains or on our experiences like to submit their guest feedback, so their NPS surveys, via paper on the last day of their experience. That process, or that approach, turns into a 16-hour-a-week process for our staff to manually input that data for reporting. Add the inaccuracy to that, and there is no way we can use that data anywhere with any real confidence. Our technology team have implemented an AI initiative to start reading this guest feedback and more accurately scan it, bring it in. That's bringing the staff process down dramatically. But what it's also doing with the added accuracy is allowing us to match that back to a digital piece of information, being that guest's CRM profile or that guest's booking in CRM. What we can then do, because Salesforce CRM is a data source of ours for Telium, we can start looking at someone who has had a negative, hopefully not too many people having a negative experience, and they've got an open case, we can read that in Telium and we can suppress them from getting any other marketing until that's resolved to not negatively impact that experience anymore. But on the flip side, and probably what I'm more excited about, of course I'm more excited about the people that are leaving the positive feedback or the promoters to our experiences. We can also segment them in Telium and create audiences of people that are primed for marketing referral campaigns, or personalize that next email they get after their trip to thank them for coming on their trip and offering them discounts or benefits in the future. So I wanted to finish by sort of exploring what is next for Telium and Journey Beyond. And these are the things I'm probably most excited about as well. There's a world of things we could be focusing on, but the additional data sources, we have about 14 other websites as data sources we want to get into Telium to start unlocking our cross-sell opportunities and use cases. So understanding what someone is doing across all of our brands, and understanding the differences between understanding the differences in customer life cycles between our brands. We don't want to take learnings from one brand, being Journey Beyond Rail, and pass it over to a customer life cycle of a Melbourne Skydeck, which is a $5,000 ticket versus a $40,000 ticket. We need to understand what the differences are in those brands. Telium Insights is probably going to redefine our customer life cycle. It'll make it more specific phases within the typical travel life cycle phases, where we can understand what someone is doing before they're about to book, what the next thing they are doing after their booking, what the main thing they're doing after their booking is. And so, for example, I want to know how many times someone visits the website in the 28 days before they book. On average, what is that across one of our brands? What is that across our group? Because and then dashboard that and pass that off to our data and analytics team for pipeline reporting and stuff like that. But because that is stored on the individual person's level, if they reach that average or that threshold and haven't booked, they're primed for us to push them to conversion. We would have never known that without Telium, and we would never have had that opportunity to influence that purchase decision right then and there based on that individual person. And then the wider business impacts that I touched on at the start. We really want to start pushing our data back into our Salesforce CRM from Telium to help our people on the phone have better next best action recommendations, surface what they last looked at on the website so they can tailor that conversation to them. We also want to push this information into our Power BI instance, because we are currently reporting on reactive or past guest trends. We're never looking at what's coming in the future in terms of a marketing sort of approach. And then, yeah, really want to bring those wider business impacts to life that we started taking them on the journey through implementation. So that's how I wanted to end today. Thank you for joining me. I'm happy to answer any questions that may or may not have come through the app, but I am hanging around for the rest of the day and tonight. So feel free to grab me if you have any other questions.